Hi, welcome to JJ's Productions. We've got another Stoke City Vlogcast. With me as always is Jan. How are you doing?
I'm alright, thanks, son. I hope everybody's okay. Sorry about that shambolic performance yesterday, but just see what the future brings.
Yeah, I've got to admit, yesterday was quite a downer for me, and I've got to try and explain why, because my knee-jerk reaction to the game was, I'm very worried about where Stoke City are going. And I feel like we need the Leeds game to actually clear this up, but I just want to explain why I had that gut feeling and why even now, 24 or so hours after, I am struggling to shake it. So we are going to talk about the Brentford game as far as the Stoke City perspective go. I would like first of all say well done to Brentford. They really did outplay us as far as they were on their game.
You certainly did.
But I would like just do some stats comparisons in regards to Gary Rowett's last game in charge in the league against Bristol City when we lost 2-0, and yesterday with Brentford. And also just take into account both teams were relatively close to us at the time of playing them, so there isn't too much difference between the two sides. So I'm looking
In other words, they were both below us.
Yeah, so it shouldn't have been this starker difference between our performance against the two teams. So I'm looking at duels won first of all. When we played Bristol City, we won 55 duels we won. Yesterday against Brentford we won 24. Then we're looking at possession. We had 65% possession against Bristol City. Yesterday against Brentford we had 46. Then we're going into shots. Against Bristol, we had 17 shots, 8 of which were on target. And against Brentford, we had 2 shots, 1 on target, which was the goal. Then finally, we're looking at passing, and I know this is a point of criticism for a lot of people, so I want to just show this how it is. Against Bristol City, we had 64 backwards passes, we had 247 sideways passes, and we had 189 forward passes. Against Brentford, we had 79 backwards passes, we had 176 sideways passes, and we had 173 forward passes. Now, the reason why I put bar charts on the screen is I want to just try and demonstrate how far yesterday we went backwards as far as the team goes. Because, yes, I understand the criticisms of Rowett as far as his tactical ability, but I'm looking at this and thinking, how have we got worse with a new manager? In the sense of, I know it's one game, I know he's only been in charge 2 days, but if we're using the basis right, that we're following Rowett's plan essentially, and he's just sort of been observing for a few days, or he's not been able to implement his ideas, I want to know how it is we got worse in the space of a week. Because that is a startling drop in stats. I mean, the only one that actually went up is backwards passes. So I'm looking at that and thinking, as good as Brentford played, how is it that Nathan Jones, even in the short time he had, didn't have a little increase as far as these stats go? I haven't even said welcome to the club, Nathan Jones, and I feel like I'm being really harsh on him already. But I've got to I'm looking at this as objectively as I can, and I think he came in with an attacking philosophy. And after the game, Tom Ince was saying that we aren't used to this. We aren't used to having the opportunity to take risks, or words to that effect. So again, I am imploring that I will give him time. This is just very knee-jerk, I understand this. But I hope people can understand why this was the knee-jerk reaction I had, because you look at these stats and somehow we did get worse.
Yeah, but you are going to do the same against Leeds, aren't you? So
I mean, this isn't going to be a regular thing, but I do think it's important to look at the Leeds game as far as, yes, it'll be a much tougher opposition, so we'll take that into account as well. But we need to see what Nathan Jones is doing on the training pitch, at least differently to Rowett, because otherwise I am just at a bit of a loss of what's going on. Because I think, just objectively, you brought him in as an attacking coach. Even if we had lost 4-5-1, if we'd have had more forward passes than the Bristol game, more shots on target, or shots in general than the Bristol game, even if we'd have conceded more, then at least I could say, you know what, I can see he's already had this in his mind where he wants to get across to the players, right, we're going to be on the front foot, we're going to take the game to them. But it's not got there, and I know it's a short time, I've got to keep stressing this because I don't want it to sound as knee-jerk as I know it is. But I'm curious how much he can do or how much he can't do in that time.
He's supposed to be an attacking, a manager who likes to attack. How is it we only had 2 shots and 1 on target?
I mean,
2 shots?
I have to go back to again. I recognise he only had limited time on the training field with the players. I know Rory Delap and Kevin Russell, Andy Gickie, they were pretty much in charge for the week before the Brentford game. I just can't help but look and think, how is it that they didn't at least seem to have a little increase? You know, I'm not expecting miracles, but you look at the stats and Everton bar backwards passes went down. You know, and you're thinking, you can sort of understand possession going down if you're trying to maybe play more on the counter, but it didn't seem like we were doing that even. So, this is where my frustration's coming from. I'm not expecting improved results, even performances, considering the personnel we've got. I'm willing to settle back on. But I'm looking for just a little upturn in the stats as far as just to see what Nathan Jones is trying to do. And I'm really hopeful that against Leeds, I'm not looking at Shrewsbury because that's just a random game as far as you don't know what the team selection is, you don't know how they'll perform, but I feel like Leeds, we've got to see something, even if again they are the dominant team compared to us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good what you've done, well, what we've done. And I think it does open your eyes when you do see it written down.
I mean, equally, I wish I could go back and compare this to more rout matches, just in the sense that, you know, I recognise people will probably say, well, you've just picked one rout match, you know, maybe other ones were worse, and I understand that, but I'm literally going in the shortest space of time. If I could have done Shrewsbury, I would have done, but the fact is, there aren't a lot of stats available for that, so I've had to pick the most recent game. So
yeah. I think you've picked the right ones anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is not me defending Gary Rowett, it's not me attacking Nathan Jones, but I am looking at the players and thinking, surely you could have done a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the bit where my frustration's coming from, because I think a lot of people have pointed the fingers at the defence after the Brentford result, and rightfully so in some instances. But the forwards didn't do a lot either.
No.
And I don't know if it's a case of, you know, they weren't given an opportunity by Brentford. Someone who watched the game, please tell the story of the game for me in that sense. But I'm looking and thinking, what more could they have done? Because obviously they could do more.
Was Shawcross as bad as it sounded on the radio? That's what I'd like to know.
I mean, I've seen clips on Twitter of him, and he looked quite off the pace in the sense that I think for one of the goals he just put a lazy foot in. You know, he didn't even try and make a decent tackle. It was sort of like you know, just stick that out and hopefully it'll do something. You know.
I know I was cringing when I was listening to it.
I mean, Joe Allen, sorry, he had a bad game as well.
Yeah, he did. He was shocking.
I saw.
And Clucas.
Yeah, Clucas again. I mean, I think it was. I can't remember which goal Allen with Allen's bad movements I saw. But a Brentford player just pretty much ran down the centre, and Allen didn't even accurately track the run. He sort of knew what this player was trying to do, but he was running into a random area, and you're thinking, why are you going there? You just go and stop the man, don't worry about where he's going to pass it.
Yeah. I mean, I was amazed when he left Clucas on and took Woods off. I mean, I don't know if I'm right.
I could sort of understand taking Woods off if you go and go 4-4-2, well, like a traditional 4-4-2, and try and attack. But then he takes Ince off for Crouch, and you're thinking, well, why did you do that? You know, it was a nonsensical decision. And again, I actually put it on Twitter at the time. I said, a week ago, if Crouch had come on for Ince, people would have been having a fume on Twitter. But because it's the first game for a new guy in charge, it's like, oh, okay, you know, we won't say anything.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a bit of hypocrisy from the fans when they do that, because I'm like, you know, if you're going to criticise the old manager for doing it, why not the new manager? Yeah. I know we're in the honeymoon period still, but I'm just trying to be objective at this point.
Yeah. I mean, all you've done is done stats and just compared them. Then you've done your percentages and everything. And I think once you've seen it on the vlog, I think they'll understand more where you're coming from.
I mean, I'll keep these stats in next week as well, in the sense of, hopefully, even if it's not the heights of what we saw at Bristol as far as these go, even if it's an improvement from Brentford, I won't be feeling as bad, because I'll think at least it's a sign of improvement.
Yeah.
But just to see such a degradation, you're thinking usually you have a bounce when a new manager comes in, but this time we actually underperformed.
Well, I actually made a comment, and I just said they were on the pitch, but their football ability, I don't know where they left it. They were there in person, but they certainly weren't playing football.
It goes
Not
back
how I listened to it.
You've said this a lot, haven't you? They look like a team of individuals.
Yeah, they aren't a team.
And this is the biggest job Nathan Jones has got.
Yeah.
He's got to get a team out of those individuals, players who will fight for each other. And it sounds so cliche saying that, but I'm just looking at this and they just don't seem to be working together.
Yeah, everybody is an individual. I mean, I know the bosses didn't like it, but when there was Bojan, Arnie and
Shaqiri,
and the other one,
it wouldn't have been Anzonzi at that point, but
no.
I know what you're getting
but
at.
they were friends off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
And they bought that on the pitch.
Yeah.
And they looked after each other. I know you shouldn't do that, but at least they were playing their part as a team.
It doesn't seem like there's any relationship
No.
on or off the pitch.
You wouldn't think that Ryan knew Ashley Williams.
No.
They are total strangers in my eyes.
Yeah.
And,
as far as overall goes, that doesn't help because,
No.
Ryan's the long-standing player of the club, where you've got Ashley, who's only been here 4 months.
But he's the captain and he should be bringing everybody together, and he isn't.
I do agree there. I mean, Ryan's coming for a lot of criticism in the past 24 hours, in some areas rightfully so, but equally, he does need to do more as a captain. Either that or maybe he should step back.
Yeah, he should relinquish his captaincy.
I really don't like saying things about Ryan, I really don't, but
I love him to bits.
it feels like it's all we're talking about, but it's like...
It's as if he doesn't want to be here.
No.
I think he's set his mind on that. He wants to go. Nothing's been said about it.
No.
But he knows he isn't fitting in anymore. And I just don't know where to go from here. I really don't. I'm so depressed at the minute with Stoke. They've been my life for 53 years now. And this is just disgusting. It really is. And it upsets me so much. I am a passionate Stoke supporter. And this is killing me.
I mean, I don't know what else to say to that because, to be honest, that's, it touches me there. And, we obviously talk about the game, but, that is hard to hear for me. I mean, I'll admit, last night after the game was over, I was down and in the dumps about it. The only thing that sort of made me feel a little bit better is I had a look at the table and I thought, we can't get relegated this season. And, put it like this, it'd take one hell of a bad run to go down. And you look at it and you think, how have we got to this place? And the bottom line is what we've been saying, a lack of team ethic. And somehow we need to find it.
Nathan Jones has got to get them on that training pitch. And he's got to tell them straight. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Do you know him? And they've got to be a team.
I mean, this is the sort of thing we've got to work on. As much as you can say, bring in 2 defenders, bring in a forward, bring in a wide man, whatever, you've got to get those players actually being part of the team. And it sounds so simple saying it, but someone actually pointed out on Twitter that the best thing Tony Pulis had as far as making signings is he knew that they would work in his team, that they would get on it with the group. There were odd clangers, it's like we hear these stories recently about Dave Kitts and you think, God, he must have been an odd one in there. But the majority did get on with one another, and not to mention, if there was a problem in the dressing room, you knew they could sort it out between themselves.
Now, I'm sorry, I'm just watching the United the lineup, And Ashley Young has just gone off the line, shouted to his players, "Now come on." And that's before they've even done the line-up.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I find that funny. If anything, it's very coincidental timing that we've got the match on the background and we're just,
and I just happened to see it, and I thought you wouldn't see Ryan doing that.
The thing is, I don't think there are many at the club who you would. I mean, maybe Jack Butland, but the fact is, we can't look at Jack because he's essentially gone. Even if he's here for another 4 or 5 months, he is gone next summer.
Yeah.
Even Joe Allen might be. I don't think there's going to be as many bids as there would have been last summer. But
well, we say Jack's going. Who the hell is going to buy Jack at this rate?
Any mid-table championship club will take a punt on him.
But he won't go from one championship to another.
Sorry, Premier League club. I meant, sorry, not championship. That would have been silly of me. But yeah, any mid-table Premier League club will take a bid on him. Even those who get promoted this year will probably think Jack's an upgrade on what we've got. So. I mean, look at Leeds, they could go up and they might want him. And he's from that area, so Leeds would not surprise me.
But aren't they having another goalkeeper this week?
Yeah, but they'd like competition, I bet.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm getting at? It's...
just a two-way conversation, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, we did go off on a tangent there, but, it is where we've got to look forward, and I really hope Nathan Jones has really understood the size of the task now, because, I really don't want to sound like I'm putting this on him as far as the Brentford result. I'm actually looking at the players more. And even if he only had 2 days to implement his ideas, then players should have at least got a general gist of what he wants from them. Enough to at least put in more than what they obviously did.
Well, as I say, I don't think we can take that anymore because it's depressing me.
Let's just move on, okay? And Shrewsbury fans, I feel so sorry for you in the fact that as far as this series goes, we do try to have a good balance between the previous game and the next game. And both times Shrewsbury fans have been shafted if they've tuned in and heard anything. So I'm sorry for that. It's been a very turbulent time at Stoke City, and it's unfortunately if you've just clicked on and tried to
I'll
hear
talk
snippets.
About Shrewsbury.
Go on then.
You played brilliant when you're at New Meadow, and you should have won.
I'll agree there, yeah.
Because we didn't play. We really, really didn't. And I felt sorry for you that you come away with a draw. So you're back here on Tuesday. Now, on paper, we should win.
On paper.
On paper. But I really do think that Shrewsbury are going to take us.
It all depends for me what team we put out, because the thing is, what we heard about the Shrewsbury game the other week, Shrewsbury are very much a team, and I know that's a word I've used a lot today, but it's so important when you're coming up against Stoke, because if you've got 11 players who are all on the same hymn sheet, they can beat us without much effort. The way I'm looking is, I'm not anticipating a miraculous performance from Stoke as far as, putting in a shift and all that, but I'm hoping that if we can bring in Maritz Bauer, Bojan, and maybe just make 1 or 2 more positive changes, so maybe resting Shawcross, I'm saying resting in inverted commas, maybe bring in Suter, I'm not overly convinced on that, but if not, Williams and Martins Lindsay at the back. The idea of just freshening the line-up a bit, maybe take those out who've been culpable lately, bring in some who deserve a chance, like Tyrese Campbell.
Have you mentioned Bojan?
I've mentioned him, yeah. I think if he's fit, he'll play this one.
I think they've got a game on the training field. I really do.
I think as well, Sam Clucas shouldn't play this one just for the fact that I think he's played a lot since he came back from the injury, and I think he needs a rest. Yeah. But we're naming names here, and my argument is Shrewsbury could still beat those names. It's only if those names become a team on the pitch that I think they've got a chance. And that is quite hurtful to say from a Stoke perspective, because it shouldn't be the case. Championship versus League One, they should come out on top.
In theory, we should fly it, but...
And I don't mean to be disrespectful to Shrewsbury there, because in the first game, they showed that they were the better team. Yeah. It was unfortunate that they had a draw, and to be honest, I sort of wish they'd won, because I'd rather Nathan Jones have a full week of training then they'd be having to deal with a replay instead.
Yeah.
But if it gives him a chance to work out which players he can use, which ones he can't, I'll take it. But if that comes at the cost of a result, I'll also take it, because even though I would like a game against Wolves, if it means that, you know, we get results in the mid to long term because he's worked out which players he can trust, which ones he can't, I'll take the loss, unfortunately.
Right, do you want to do a prediction?
Yeah, I'll go for the prediction. And I'm going to go for 1-1, just in the sense that I think it might be a mirror of the first game in that way. And if we're talking about penalties from there, I've got to hope Stoke could edge it, but I'll say Stoke edging it on penalties, but you know, that's just for the fact that maybe we will have a few more prolific penalty takers than Shrewsbury. But as I've said, if Shrewsbury win, it will not be a surprise. So, you know, I am putting my foot in the Stoke camp, but my heart isn't all the way there.
Well, I've gone for 2-1, but I'm not expecting 2-1 by any.
Yeah, I think if we got
imagination.
I think if we got the results right this season, we'd have probably been in the top 6 easy.
Yeah.
So, well, definitely if you'd done it, I've been a bit more pessimistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you'd have probably been the top 2. So,
yeah. I mean, I just go 1-0 for Stoke because I feel that's all they're good enough for at the minute.
Let's hope that changes in the future, because I recognise this is a very bleak vlog at the moment, but we are hopeful in the sense that Nathan Jones can take us forward. We've probably used his name a lot in this episode.
Well, I apologise for the last one that we did, because I was so depressed that day. I can't tell you. You know, when I was talking, I knew I sounded down, and I so apologise for that.
Yeah, it is sometimes hard to lift yourself up after a bad game. It can take days, and when you've got back-to-back games, you know, even if you're putting on your best Sunday suit, as you may call it, you can still see the stains on it. So
I just couldn't lift my mood, and as I say, I do apologise.
So yeah, but I'm going to say I am hopeful. The way I look at it is, Shrewsbury could be a good warm-up match for Leeds, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, which I really hope Shrewsbury come at us, in the sense of, I hope they don't play safe trying to get through to the next round. I hope they realise we're there for the taking, because I want these players to know how hard it is to win right now. I don't want them to have an easy game. I want them to actually suffer, essentially, so that the manager knows who comes out the other end.
I want that Stoke have got to play their guts out.
Exactly.
Because they certainly haven't.
So when I say Shrewsbury come at us, I mean that with all respect. So, come on. All right.
Okay, up the Potters.
Hopefully we'll see you in another episode, but thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and we're back on Wednesday, I think, for the Leeds preview, so hopefully we'll be talking about a good result or performance then. Until then, bye for now, everyone.
Okay, bye folks. Enjoy the match.